Okay, how's everybody doing? We won't be here long, I promise. I don't have a lot of time to discuss anything, but I want to talk about Dr. Umar Johnson, uh, Jermaine Shoemake. He's about to lose the school. He's about to lose the school that it took him a decade to get off the ground. He's about to lose it. And this is fully exposing the fraud of Dr. Umar. It's undeniable at this point, right? I mean, you might have been able to deny it before. You've just been a fool to deny it, but you can't deny it now. He ain't been taking care of business. So what happened? Um, the paperwork, I believe, made it online before Dr. Umar came up with some kind of excuse. But apparently, it was posted on the school, and it was issued on August the 8th that the city plans to sell the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey International Leadership Academy, the building. And then Dr. Umar came out and
that they were going to try to sell out.
And then decided to come up with an excuse and try to save the building or whatever. I'm not going to go through this entire thing, but ultimately, Dr. Umar owes the city $18,000. That's rounded up to the nearest thousand. Okay, he owed the city $18,000, mostly in registration fees, which he has not paid in 5 years, and water and sewage, which is almost $2,000. But the registration fee is $15,000 that he has not paid. Um, so this man, for starters, anybody who thought that Dr. Umar was legitimate, you need to realize this man is from Philadelphia, and he decided to build a school in Delaware. What is the black population of Delaware? For the record, not Detroit, not Chicago, not Baltimore, not DC. He decided to build a school named after Marcus Garvey and Frederick Douglass in Delaware. So let's look up the black population in Delaware. How about that? Let's look that part up. There are as of 2023, there were 22,645 black people in Delaware. 22,000. Well, I'm sorry, 220,000. Oh, I can't read. Oh Lord, have mercy. So, according to the March of Dimes, 22%, almost 23% of the state is black. 23%. Somebody, the University of Delaware can break it down by county. Pretty much every county is 60 to 70% white. 60 to 70% white. So let's look up which let's see, Wilmington, Delaware is in which county in Delaware? Let me look and see which county this is in. It's in Newcastle County, okay? So Newcastle County in Delaware, according to the University of Delaware, is 76% white. 76% white. Well, sorry, this is the Newcastle city. Okay, let's look at the county. Let's look at the county. Where's the county? All right, so Newcastle County, they have, I don't think they have, oh, for the city of Wilmington, I stand corrected, it's 54% black. So it's 55% black. in Wilmington, Delaware, a city that is 55% black. He found a black city in Delaware, but he's from Philadelphia. So I'm going to back off. For starters, I don't believe it should be in Delaware. Even if it's in a black city in Delaware, I don't think it should be in Delaware, for starters. Secondly, there are certainly blacker cities than Wilmington, Delaware. There's Detroit. There's, parts of Chicago. There is Philadelphia. There's Oakland. There's Atlanta. There's Houston. There's Baltimore. There's Washington, D.C. I mean, there's many, many, many cities that are blacker than Wilmington, Delaware. So, for starters, it took him a good 10 years to get this school even remotely within reach. It took him a really, really, really long time to even get the school within reach. And then when he finally gets the school, he buys the building. But this was years ago, 6 years ago. He has not been keeping up with anything. He has not hired anybody. And the school has not ran a single class. Not one class. So once he got outed and the paperwork made the internet, then all of a sudden, Dr. Umar pops up with all of these excuses. So this is what he said at first. Let's try to get his audio queued up. What's going on here? I want it to play.
On August the 5th, the city of Wilmington, Delaware, took out a notice to auction off the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy campus for unpaid vacant property registration fees. I repeat, on August the 5th, the city of Wilmington, Delaware, took out a lien to auction off the campus we bought, the campus we've been working on for 6.5 years. I was not notified of this. We were not notified of this. This past weekend, without an email, this past weekend, without a letter in the mail, this past weekend, without a phone call, the city of Wilmington put a notice on the door handle of both of our schools, informed on August the 5th me that if we don't pay the past due vacant property registration fees and outstanding utilities by the 25th of Black August, they will sell our campus. Brothers and sisters, can I ask you a question? Why were we not notified that they were going to try to sell our campus? Brothers and sisters, why are they trying to sell our campus at the very moment that our accounts are frozen? Brothers and sisters, is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that the city of Wilmington is trying to sell properties that we own and have been working on continuously behind our backs? They were going to sell our schools behind our backs. They didn't even tell us. We received no notice in the mail. We received no notice by email. We received no phone calls at all that they were going to try to sell our schools. Instead, they put a notice on the door handle. Somebody stole one set of notifications and sent it to the YouTubian struggle streamers. Somebody stole the Frederick Douglass High School paperwork off the front door and sent it to the struggle streamers. But luckily for us, Sister Ra Ebony was able to get the paperwork off the Marcus Garvey School before the haters stole that paperwork.
Nobody, absolutely nobody, is going to try to take property from you without giving you notice. Legally, they have to give you notice. You've been ignoring the notice. For starters, if you look at the paperwork, he has not paid the registration fees in 5 years. The only way you would not have had notice is if you had just thought that I bought this building, therefore I own it in perpetuity forever, which you could not have been that stupid. This is cap. This guy he thinks you're stupid. He owes these people almost $20,000 that he has to raise up in 2 weeks. They gave him 2 weeks. And so he's back online panhandling. They call him the Prince of Panhandling. Asking for money. Again, people have been giving this fool money for almost 20 years. It's been since 2005. He talked about the school for goddamn 10 years before he actually built it. This man. Look, we all know that the King Randall, he exposed Umar without even trying. Okay? All he did was just start up the school. He's 20 years old. He started up a school. He's probably like 21 or 22 or something like that now. But he started up a school. And I've seen people do it. I've seen people start schools with nothing but a copy machine. All they did was take books, put it on a copy machine, copy the pages, and give it to the kids. I've seen guys started up schools in their basement. I've seen guys mentor kids in their basement. I know it's possible. It shouldn't have took this fool 15 years. So let's look at everything we know so far. So this fool bought a building in Delaware, not in the city that he lives in, not in any other black city. He claims to have been a school psychologist. That's now, for a long time, people were saying he wasn't a real PhD. He wasn't a real doctor. That's still pretty questionable. I do believe that there was some paperwork with his name on it, his real name on it, that was indeed produced several years ago, but we don't know if that was fake or not. But ultimately, he's lying. He knows that he knows that these people told him to pay these back taxes and these fees. Pay this stuff. You got to pay these people. What does he think he's going to be able to? For 5 years, you're not going to pay him? He's like the kind of Negro that's been paying on them. He got this stuff on layaway. All right? He didn't try to put it on layaway. He didn't try to put the school on layaway. No. That's not going to work. That don't work like that. He doesn't know what he's doing. Look, here's the thing. Not only does he not know what he's doing, for years he has rejected people trying to help him. For years he has rejected people trying to help him. People have been trying to help him, and he's been rejecting them. All he wants is the money. That's all he wants is the money. People have been trying to help this guy. So, as proof, we're about to play some audio of this man basically telling Lord Jamar he don't want no help. He needs you financially, but he don't need nothing else.
You don't open up a school in a year or two. I don't know your brother's story, and I don't care to know it. I don't care to know it because
Why not? Hey, Lord Jamar literally about to ask that question, but why not? Why wouldn't you need to know if somebody has done something that you're trying to do, and they trying to put you on game? Why wouldn't you need to know it? Why don't you want to know it? Especially if this is supposed to be your lifelong dream. Something you've been talking about for 2 decades. But you don't want to know? What? Very, very suspicious. The thing is, if somebody else gets involved and they see you not working towards it, they can expose you. That's why you don't want to know. That's why you don't want no help.
Why not, though? If it could be helpful to you, why wouldn't you care to know it if it could be helpful to you? Brother, I have friends who own schools. Do you understand that? I have friends who own schools. So if I need to talk to someone who owns a school, I already got that. I got what I need. The only thing missing from my equation is enough funds to complete the task. That's it. That's it. The school is not open yet because I don't have enough funds to do it that way. I'm not going to no bank. Maybe we need.
He said, "I'm not going to no bank." So how is he going to keep the school open? How is he going to keep the school open? He's not going to have a bank account for the school. How is he going to pay the teachers? How is he going to pay the principal? How is he going to pay the janitors? How is he going to feed the kids while they're at the school? I'm going to guess that he's going to give away free lunches. How is he going to pay for that? This doesn't sound like somebody with a business plan. I have friends who own schools. Okay, what friends? And what schools? Where? This dude is a fucking clown, man. He's terrible.
Fundraising, there are fundraising methods. Maybe the people that we go to. We have that in place, but what I want you to understand, it takes time to build institutions. I ain't got no problem with where we are. I'm loving where we at. We got
nigga, what? The school not open. How you loving where you at? You're not even in motion yet. No, man. This look, when I started to question his PhD, that's when I started listening to him, really. You know, like I stopped following him when, what was this, maybe 2011, 2012, when I was just kind of like, look, I don't know if this guy even has a PhD. So it's not like that's important, because it's not. What's important is because he keeps saying he has a PhD, is why I was like, wait a second. Why nobody can find it? I think it did eventually turn up, because that's why that conversation kind of slowed down. But I kind of jumped off right there. I'm like, look, the school is never coming. They keep giving this guy money. He can give you no updates on the school. There's no updates. He can't show you any paperwork. He can't show you a business plan. And you would think a guy with this man's reputation, and this man has been in this black space for 20 years. You mean to tell me there ain't been not nan conscious rapper, nan a conscious movie star or something like that, they didn't try to donate money that would have got this school open? The reason why it's not open because people see that this nigga is full of shit. That's why. Anybody who comes within his orbit has to know. It's obvious to people who are watching that he's garbage. It's crazy.
Our plans done by the engineer. We got our electrician chosen. I'm meeting with my HVAC this weekend. I got my plumber on standby. Roofer did his job. Carpenter lined up. We doing what we need to do on the time frame we doing it in. I don't need no help outside of the team I got, which is filled with experts from the East Coast to the West Coast, brother.
This man is trash. All right? He's trash. He said, we got our plumber. Did you see the size of that school? You think one man is going to work on the water system of that school? You got a carpenter? How many classrooms do you have? As somebody who's done carpentry, do you know how long it would take for you to remodel a room, one person to tile the floor might be okay. One person to fix a hole in the wall, fine. One person to do the glazing on the windows, fine. On one window, maybe. You're talking about a giant campus, you're going to need a team. You're going to need roofers. No. Nah. Nope. And ain't put out man hiring. We're looking for, we're interviewing for teachers, or we're trying to collect books. Nothing. What's this man talking about, yo? My team is filled with experts. Expert what? Expert what? Look, you know this man is full of shit, because you can find street front preachers who have opened schools, man. The Negro that started the 5%ers, the Nation of Gods and Earths, Clarence Smith, Clarence 13X, he had a school. It was like a small, street front thing. It wasn't big, but he had a school. The Nation of Islam had a school. The Black Panthers had a school. It didn't take none of these people that long, and they had less resources than Dr. Umar had. What is this guy talking about?
Okay, brother. I mean, these are definitely the answers that people want to know. They want to. I'm not interested in people. I'm interested in donors, brother. Yeah, but in order for you to get donors, though, you're gonna have to satisfy these. Yes, brother.
Years ago, I forgot who asked him for a business plan. I'm about to look that up, because that was one of the things also that made me stop listening to him. Is that several years ago, somebody asked Dr. Umar for a business plan, and he could not produce one. And I'm trying to figure out who that was. Let me see who that is. Somebody asked him for a business plan. Let me take a look at this. I'm trying to figure out who it was. It was a good 10 years ago. Was it Boyce Watkins? It was somebody that asked Dr. Umar for a business plan, and he didn't have one. He had all these plans for the school and all this, and when somebody asked him for a business plan, he didn't have one. And he couldn't even come up with one and refused to share one. That's how I knew he wasn't for real. He's not serious. He's not serious. So it was Boyce Watkins. I knew it was somebody. So I remember watching that, really cringing at the whole concept. This is embarrassing. I knew it was somebody who asked this man to see his business plan, and he didn't have one. But I was pretty sure it was Boyce Watkins. I think this is it. Yeah, because this is over 4 years ago. This is on the Coli. I remember seeing this because I was on All Hip Hop at the time. This was in 2016. I'm on their message board. Yeah, this is bad. See, this is the shit we talking about, though. He says he's not interested in help. He interested in donors. What do you mean you interested in donors? You can't. Donors are interested in your business plan. If he did, in the amount of time that it's taken for him to open this school, he could have went back to college and learned about nonprofits and learned right off rip, if you're going to go out asking people for money. This is why he asked for direct donations, by the way, because if he really had something set up, he will be able to go to institutions and get money. He will be able to go to the local industries and get money. Because that's what happens when you really have a business plan. You go in front of people and they give you a grant, $10,000, $20,000 to do whatever you want with your business. You can go to the city and get $10,000, $20,000 if you have a business plan. And you can actually pitch like Shark Tank to these people about what you want to do. I was in those classrooms. I heard some of those pitches. They teach you how to sit down and write how to write a grant. He's been panhandling, literally asking for money for years. Asking individual people for money. Look, you can only get so far doing that. But you need, and that can help on little things, pencils and paper and all that kind of stuff. But you talking about buying a building? You're talking about paying guys to work on this project, and who knows how many hours of renovation is going to be needed on your plumbing, on your carpentry to make the building so that it's habitable for people to actually live, to not live, but be in. You're talking about he already $20,000 in debt. And that's before we even start talking about paying people. He ain't paid nobody yet. He ain't paid nobody yet. He cannot provide any proof that he's got a carpenter, a plumber. I did see that he put some windows on there. So he got a glazer at least. So there was somebody put some new windows on the building. But that was 3 or 4 years ago. It honestly does not take this long. If he had the money. He keeps admitting he doesn't have the money, but he's also cutting off his own funding sources. Again, this nigga, he done been on the Breakfast Club. He's been on every single black podcast possible. You mean to tell me some black guilt trip dude like Snoop Dogg or something like that couldn't have slid this dude $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 to get this school started? Come on, man. He done been in contact with every single successful black media personality over the last decade. They couldn't have slayed him some money? Nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. This fool is lying, man. This no business plan. Still no business plan. Now he's just sitting around here arguing with people about not wanting to give away too much.
You're gonna get donors. How are you gonna get donors
and
if you don't decide? If I disagree with you, listen. If I'm considering to be a donor, but I have certain questions that I want answered, I feel like that's legitimate.
Can I tell you why that's bullshit?
Why? Go ahead, please.
Respectfully.
Respectfully.
You've been raising money for 6.5 years, brother. If you ain't doing out by now, you ain't donating. In your question.
These shits. What are you talking about? If you ain't donating by now, you ain't going to. So now you're saying, I don't even want new donors. What is this fool talking about, man? What is this fool talking about? he is quite. See, look, the only way you could be this bad at business is if you're intentionally this bad at business. All right, you're actively bad at business. You're actively on purpose not doing the right thing, because you have to assume he doesn't know what he's doing. He's never run a school before. He's never been a CEO of a business before. So he doesn't know what he's doing. It's cool if you don't know what you're doing. People are investing in the dream. He has a remarkable ability to get you to believe in his dream and believe in his vision. That's why so many people follow him, despite the fact that he's bullshit. People are bought into the dream. They want to see the school operate because he's been talking about it for so long. But he's so arrogant that when he gets asked basic questions, he starts to fold. First, it was, y'all don't ask the white people this. The white people don't show up and ask for money. And when the white people do show up to other white people and ask for money, they have a business plan. They have an area that they really want to operate in. They might even have a building that they're looking at that they want to buy that they can tell you directly. And they're able to tell you why that building is specifically is the one that they want to work in. They know how much money they're going to need, or they have an estimate. Umar just continuously asks for money with no goal in mind. He doesn't say, we need $20,000 and we're $10,000 in. Right? He doesn't even do that. He's just been asking for money, give me more money. And then for years, it was stories of, if you want Dr. Umar to talk at your school or at your event, you had to pay him directly. You then had to buy him a plane ticket and pay for his hotel. And then, of course, there were stories of him trying to shack up with the women when he got there, because usually it was women that was paying to have Dr. Umar fly them, to talk to them, come talk to their groups or whatever, their schools and their organizations. That's why he became so matriarchal, because it was black women that was supporting him mostly. The men were asking him, just like Lord Jamar just did, just like Boyce Watkins did, just like everybody does. What am I investing in? Where is it going to be? Now you done told me it's in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm like, what? I had to go look up the black population of Wilmington, Delaware. Do I need to go look up what the literacy rate in Wilmington, Delaware is? You should have all that information for me. If I'm going to tell you I'm going to open up a school, I'm going to say, we need to open up this school in this particular place for this reason. Detroit is a prime area where you need to open up a school. The literacy rate in Detroit is terrible. It's like 40% or something like that. Maybe even worse. They're closing schools all the time. All right? You can't tell me that you've been all over the country for over a decade and you decide Wilmington, Delaware is where you're going to build the school. He could at least said, I live in Delaware, but I don't know the reasoning. Why is you building a school in the middle of nowhere? None of this makes sense. We're going to talk about the Snow Bunny thing, because I'm going to talk about that. I don't like this nigga, man. I really don't. WG Phil says he really self-gentrified his school. I guess Umar got fatigued to putting it in Chicago, Atlanta. He didn't want to put it anywhere dangerous. That's the thing. Chicago, west side of Chicago, south side is dangerous. Detroit is dangerous. Philly is dangerous. Baltimore is dangerous. DC, dangerous. Oakland, dangerous. You're not going to put it anywhere where, you put it somewhere in the fucking vice lords or something take over the school. You don't want that. You don't want that drama. You don't want to try to build a school over here and the Negroes from 7 Mile take over your school. You don't want that. Because once you get a certain age, you might as well be invisible to these young dudes out here. He didn't want that. He wanted to take the school. He took it to Delaware. How ridiculous is that? He's a ridiculous man. Absolutely ridiculous, bro. He said Slade, he doing all that talking. He hasn't produced a single receipt ever. Correct. He has produced nothing. He hasn't even produced any paperwork. The paperwork that's going to get the school taken is probably the first damn paperwork anybody's ever seen on the school. This is probably the first paperwork anybody's ever seen about the school. And it's only him. There's nobody else. Where's his business partners at? He said he got business partners. Where they at? Why ain't they on the tour with him talking about the school? Come on, man. This clown. Prince of Pancakes. The prepper time like this nigga. King Randall isn't out here self-promoting like Umar. If you're really about that life, you don't have time to be on YouTube all the time. True. Like, I watch a lot of clips of him. I've even donated to his school. You see what he actually doing. He's teaching the boys practical stuff like how to fix cars and how to use power tools and all that sort of stuff. All that is very important. That's what I'm talking about. He's just doing it. He's just showing you that he's doing it. He talks about it a little bit because he has to do the fundraising thing too, but he's not panhandling. He's showing you exactly where the money is going. People have been to his school. People can talk about it. It ain't just him. He has been co-signed by people. All he talks about is donations. 15 to 20 years to start one school. It didn't take Booker T. Washington that long. He was a slave. It didn't take him 20 years to start a school. Clarence Smith, he walked out of a mental hospital and started a school. What's taking this fool so long? Again, this Negro has been famous for 20 years. They say he wrote a book. I haven't read it. I don't know anybody who's read it, but they said he wrote a book. The book didn't fund the school? Come on, man. You couldn't go to Elijah Muhammad and ask for a donation from the Nation of Islam? You couldn't ask the Moorish Science Temple? Look, I understand that he doesn't, what they want to do and what he wants to do is two different things. It doesn't matter. It's all part of the same community. You mean you tell you couldn't go to any of these institutions and ask for money? And none of these people fuck with you? None of them? You just out here by yourself, huh? And you gonna start a school up by yourself, huh? What practical information do you know? None. You know nothing. You are a school psychologist, is what he said. You know nothing about teaching. You know nothing about building stuff. You don't know nothing about economics. Where is your team? You could have at least did what I forgot. The crazy auntie chick. I think did she work for Boyce Watkins? She worked for somebody, but she was a scammer too. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Her name is it Vicky Dillard? She's a scam artist too. But it's weird to me that other people can manage to find, like when Boyce Watkins started doing his thing and it turned out that he had like an Asian guy or something like that was on one of his that was such a funny time. because people got so mad that they thought Boyce Watkins was doing this thing all by himself, and then it turns out there was some Asian guy involved. I wasn't tripping on it. I'm like, you got to get help where you can get it. But other people were so mad because Boyce Watkins comes out talking all this black shit. And then as soon as he starts up his little business, he got this Asian dude involved. That was pretty funny. But other than that, I don't expect somebody to take on such an amazing and momentous I don't expect somebody to take on this kind of responsibility by themselves. Right? You need donors. You need people to help you. And there's no shame in people helping you. The crazy thing is he got lapped by King Randall, and King Randall doubled back and tried to help him. And then he disrespected King Randall. So we're not even gonna talk about Hotep Jesus because he's about to break it down. I don't want to put too much thought into it. I'm gonna let the Hotep people explain it.
Chad, just in case you don't know, 15 years ago, King Randall was 5 years old. When King Randall was 5 years old, Dr. Umar promised us a school. King Randall is now a grown-ass man on his 3rd year of his school. And Uncle Umar still has not produced a school. Not only has King Randall grown up, produced a school, had 3 consecutive years of schooling for young black boys, the same dream Umar was supposed to give us. He produces a school, decides to say, you know what? Let me involve Dr. Umar in this. Pays Dr. Umar. The total amount of expenses to accommodate Dr. Umar totaled $5,000. Dr. Umar decided he wasn't going to show up after he took the money. King Randall asked him for a reimbursement, and Dr. Umar told him, go kick rocks. Now, the Prince of Panhandling is on the internet talking about his bank account got frozen and he wants to send him some money. I hope he goes to jail. I hope Dr. Umar does a really long time in jail. Because this is disgusting.
He got to be broke. And I don't understand it. Like, he be charging niggas, these podcast niggas come out, they getting booked. How you fuck that money up?
I don't know where.
The money is getting snatched up by child support, probably, if we being honest. That money probably getting yanked by child support. Now, I think one of his kids is actually an adult now, but he probably been getting yanked from child support for a while now. And who knows how many kids he actually does have. Like, we think he got 2, one of which is an adult. I think she just turned 22 this year. But he might have more. Again, Dr. Umar was having these women fly him out for these speaking engagements. Sometimes they was home cooking him meals and he was sleeping at their houses, which I don't have a problem with, except it flies in the face of all the stuff he's been talking about black women. It is what it is. Throw this nigga in jail.
The money's going.
Running the streets, winding down these queens, running around the country like a damn shine. That's why I told you, man. Niggas is so fucking greedy. That's some Philly niggas. Greedy ass. And then want to floss. You know them Philly niggas.
Look, I feel the same way about Tariq Nasheed. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So Dr. Umar he is not good at anything. So his daughter went online and his daughter decided to embarrass him because he is an embarrassment.
Bye.
And so his daughter, I think this is his oldest daughter, I think. She just turned 22. And she's going to explain why this guy's been a shitty father, why he's been going around the country lecturing black men on fatherhood and family and all this stuff. Look at what he's for starters, he's still unmarried, which I don't have a problem because I'm unmarried. but he's got baby mamas, which I don't have. Right? Now, that's an expensive situation to be in when you got kids and you're not with the mamas. That's expensive. So we had to know that some of this money from these speaking engagements was going towards his kids, right? And he's got his own living expenses. Now, people have said he was homeless. He's a hobo. He's going, from bed to bed. I'm not going to go into all that. I don't know. I'm going to assume the Negro got a house or an apartment somewhere, okay? But we know he ain't got no family. He's got kids, but he ain't got no family, which is what he should have. We also going to listen to him lecture that other bum, Nick Cannon, about this.
My biological father is Dr. Umar. I tried to contact him about, getting to know my sister. I asked him if he knows her or if he has her number. He ignored me and never responded. I'm 22 years old now. My dad has never been to anything important, no graduation, no birthday parties, nothing. He has not been in my life. Forget the relationship. I really don't care too much about that at this point. I just wanted a conversation out of you, and you shut me down. You ignored me. And I'm not bashing you. Really? I just don't understand why you're ignoring me. I'm 22 years old, and you have yet to be in my life.
Y'all know me too well. Y'all know my love for children is too strong. For anybody to be coming out the woodworks telling you they've been trying to reach me when my number has been public for 20 years. Listen, brothers and sisters, I want y'all to listen. My phone number has been the same for 20 years. So anybody...
That don't mean you answering the phone, Jack. That don't mean you answering the phone, man. What are you talking about? I've had the same phone number for 21 years. That don't mean the people who have my number, it ain't changed. But if somebody calls me that I ain't spoke to in a while, I ain't answering it. All right. I still decide when I'm going to answer the phone and when I'm not. And then you are the parent. You are the parent. You're supposed to be calling and checking up on her. What is this man? What's up with this man? It's not just about the school. Everything about this Negro is bullshit. His name is fake. His advice is bullshit. The school is fake. It's about to get taken. Everything about this dude is...
You, they've been trying to reach me, and my phone number hasn't changed in 20 years. Mind you, I speak at graduations in Philadelphia all the time. I'm on the street in Philadelphia all the time. I have events in Philadelphia all the time. I got family in Philadelphia everywhere. And you've been trying to find me? Stop the cat now. Can we please stop the cat, brothers and sisters?
So this dude was gonna go online and call this baby a liar. This is not how you handle this situation. Look, I don't know what it's like to be famous, and it happens to famous people a lot. It's actually happening with that Queer Destiny right now, where his son's online embarrassing him. I know it happened to Monique. It's happened to quite a few celebrities where the kids will go online and embarrass you on purpose. And it almost always ends up the same way with the parent going online trying to embarrass the kid, which only just shows how the parent is in the wrong, right? She's clearly reaching for something. And instead of... he's trying to protect his image. That's what he's trying to do. He don't care about that girl. He cares about his reputation. Cares about being able to live comfortably off of other people. Bullshit.
trying to build your struggle streaming career off of my back, coming up out of nowhere, acting like you've been looking for me. Get Mama Smurf. When can the three of us have a sit down? I'm ready for this. When can Mama Smurf, Papa Smurf, and Baby Smurf have a sit down? Oh, I'm ready for this.
So let's look at this, because I haven't watched this entire clip. I expected him to say that this wasn't his daughter. That's what I expected him to say. So he's basically admitting that this girl is his daughter and that he hasn't spoken to her. And he wants to have a sit down with her. Instead of just saying that, saying, hey, you got my number, I got your number, do I have your number? I could call you, you can call me, whatever. He's basically saying, you're trying to start your struggle streaming career off me. Always with the victim shit, right? Victim narratives. He never did anything wrong, brothers and sisters. He never did anything wrong, brothers and sisters. It's cornball.
And I will have my white man paperwork.
What?
I will have my white man paperwork.
What?
When can we do the sit down? When can we do the sit down? Been paying child support since you damn near came out the womb. Deadbeat who? When can we have a sit down?
Wait, that's not the same thing, though. She didn't talk about financially. She does not have a father. That's what she's saying. You were not a father to her. That's her problem. Most people's issues are more than financial. You going out here giving Nick Cannon advice and your own daughter is looking for you. You giving advice to the Joe Budden podcast and Breakfast Club and all this shit, and your own child can't get a hold of you. How you? Ridiculous.
Child support started. You wasn't even out your mama yet, and she took me to child support. Deadbeat who? Deadbeat who?
Pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic.
Child custody file this thick. What are we talking about? Where is Mama Smurf? What is your mama's Instagram? We want to ask her some questions. Where's your mama's face? Where is the mother? And
the girl is 22 now. You should be dealing with her now. Who cares about her mama at this point? Mama out of the picture. Mama's been out of the picture for a long time. You should have been trying to repair, if it was mama's fault, let's say. Because sometimes it is. Let's say it was mama's fault. Then you should have called her as a teenager and started, rebuilding this thing. Maybe mama was keeping her away. Maybe you moved away. You don't live in that area anymore or whatever. This is ridiculous. This thing is ridiculous, bro. He's a ridiculous man.
none of y'all asking no questions. Lord have mercy. This is how you know that this is not about the truth. If his number hasn't changed in 20 years, why haven't you called for an in-person conversation? You wait until now. Why is that? Why did you wait until now? I want you to get off of social media for a minute. Stop looking ridiculous. Get off social media for a minute, baby Smurf. Stop looking ridiculous. And I want you to get Mama Smurf. And on Thursday, 1 week from today, I'm calling you out, you and Mama Smurf. I want a respectable, private FDMG tour and luncheon. Baby Smurf, Mama Smurf, and Big Papa. Wilmington, Delaware. Let's put it into this right
now. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And this is just the one child that we know he's got. I know he's got at least one more. Ridiculous man. Absolutely ridiculous man. Say Umar has 69 on steroids. Please get off social media. See, but he needs to be on social media because he can't do anything else. He's just a talking ass nigga, man. This man does nothing but talk, which would be fine if you just, sharing your opinions on things. But you trying to tell people how to live and trying to save the black community, and you want to save Africa. And what are you talking about? Look at your own house. Your house is in disorder. Your own house is in 100% disorder. Enough's enough, man. We done with this. This dude is an absolute joke. Clearly, he's such an institution. He's been around for so long that I don't think people are willing to give him up, to be honest. So here's his daughter again.
Umar got my number from when I was texting him when that whole situation happened. Umar is not trying to help me at all.
His daughter is homeless. So his daughter is homeless. How old is this video? Let me see how old this video is before I play it. It is from earlier this month, from August the 6th.
Umar got my number from when I was texting him when that whole situation happened. Umar is not trying to help me at all. Matter of fact, I don't even have that number. He know my Instagram. He can DM me. He hasn't done it. Why? Because he don't give two fucks about me. And instead of telling the internet, I don't give two fucks about my daughter, he ready to get on here and lie and pretend like he's trying to help me out. He's not. He's not. Even if Umar offered me a place to stay, I wouldn't be staying with him. If he helped me get an apartment, that's something different. I would never stay with him. I would feel, that would just make me feel uncomfortable. If Umar wanted to help me, Umar can DM me. Everybody know me as Nisa to go. Nisa to go, Nisa to go, Nisa to go. You type in Nisa to go, I come right up. You can find me. You go on TikTok and search up Dr. Umar's daughter. You can find me. There's tons of videos. He is not trying to help me. So when y'all get on here and y'all say these things, it frustrates me because he's not trying to help me. He has 1.1 million followers. He's doing this for his image. I don't know how much money they make. I don't give two fucks. He's not trying to help me. And if he was, y'all know, I would post about it. I would let y'all know so y'all can see another side of him. But that's not true. He's not trying to help me. And I would really like if people would stop running off with the narrative like he's trying to help me, because he's not. Thank you. Well,
I do think something's off about her. The bug eyes and everything. She might need a little extra help. She might need a little extra help.
Love my child. Let me say that. I love my child. Let me say that.
Then go get her.
I love my child. Let me say that. I pray to God she's safe. I pray to God she's healthy. Baby Smurf has my number. She is not blocked. She can text me anytime. She can call me anytime. She has a mother with a house. I have a cousin of mine who invited her to come and stay with her. Baby Smurf don't want a place to stay. Baby Smurf has places to stay. And I pray my daughter is well. I pray she's well. But I need y'all to understand something. If she want her father's help, she can have her father's help. If she want her mother's help, I think she can have her mother's help. I've had relatives reach out to her. She don't want to be helped. She loves the attention that she gets on the struggle streams. She's called me out my name. She's disrespected me, but she's still my child.
Well, that's happening because you ain't doing shit. It would be one thing if she grew up with you in the house and you was like, there are children out here who are disrespecting their fathers and the dads that bent over backwards and paid for college and done all this stuff. Baby girl say she ain't got nowhere to live. And you like, I pray she's safe. What? What do you mean you pray she's safe? That's it? Thoughts and prayers for your own kid. What are you talking about, idiot?
She's not honest about a lot of things. She knows why I wasn't there. She know her mother kept me out of her life, so she's very dishonest. She told somebody on an interview this morning or yesterday that I wasn't there when she was born. Complete lie. I'm the first person to hold her after the white doctor. Complete lie. I'm the first person to hold her after the white doctor. I had her more than her mother had her first 5 years of her life. But if she wants to lie, she can keep on lying. I understand her loyalty is to her mother. And because her loyalty is to her mother, she's going to keep on lying. But that's not the point. I just want all y'all to know that if my daughter ever reaches out to me, I'm here for her. So what you see her doing is all intentional. It's strategic. She's very intelligent. She knows exactly what she's doing. And I think she knows. And I pray my baby is safe. But I think she knows that if she gets help, she can't act crazy on the internet no more. Because guess what? My help is going to come with conditions. You're going to get your ass somewhere and sit down. Read a book. Get off the damn internet for a minute. Let's get you enrolled in some classes at the Community College of Philadelphia. Let's get you enrolled in some classes at the Community College of Philadelphia. Let's get you enrolled in some classes at the Community College of Philadelphia. Let's get you at the Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology. You want to do some plumbing, some architect, some auto mechanic. Let's find you a summer job. Can we start with a summer job? I will help my daughter.
No, you don't. Understand what he just said, though. He said his help comes with conditions. But if you say those donations should come with conditions, he's going to say that you're part. You don't do that to the white man. I tell you, I can't stand this nigga, man. I cannot stand this Negro man.
Evil.
This Negro, I cannot stand him. Can't stand him. It's been 10 years. I've been waiting for the downfall on this Negro, man. I've been waiting since at least 2014 for this thing to blow up. If he continues to be famous after this, I'm just going to assume that Black America is just too damn stupid. They must be in a cult. There's just no way. There's no way. Anybody can look at this guy. And then that's just one school that he owes $20,000 on. It's probably another one that he owes even more money on. But we off the school right now. We already know the school bullshit. His family life is garbage.
The evil vegan baby mama number 2.
Baby mama number 2.
The evil vegan baby mama number 2. The evil vegan baby mama number 2. I gave her 2 weeks to get in touch with me. I messaged her through Instagram. I'm sure everybody in Philly told her, you got 2 weeks. This man wants to see his child who you've been holding for 13 years. For 13 years. For 13 years. And if I don't see her, I'm going to tell the world why I don't see her. So we have come to the deadline for the evil vegan.
The evil vegan.
My daughter.
But he wants the evil vegan to manifest his child. She already did that. She did that 13 years prior. The child already here. Child is already here, man. What's this thing talking about, man?
Because the evil vegan put a post up a couple years ago. Baby mama number 2, the evil vegan, put a post up. And we're going to get to her in a minute. And she said, he doesn't see his daughter, and I'm paraphrasing, but she said, And somebody sent it to me. It was on her Facebook, I think. And she said, he doesn't see his daughter because he's too busy running around the world saving black people, something like that. And then she said, he has failed to keep his appointments with his daughter. Baby mom number 2, evil vegan. When did I ever have an appointment with my daughter? Baby mom number 2, evil vegan. When did I ever have an appointment with my daughter? When did I ever have an appointment with my daughter? So you've been lying just like Mama Smurf. Both of y'all been lying to the world, telling them I don't want to be bothered because you don't want to tell the truth. He didn't marry me, so I didn't want him around. You will be with both of us, or you will be with neither one of us. That's what Mama Smurf told me. Mama Smurf said, you will be with both of us, or you will be with neither one of us. And then Baby Smurf says, my mama didn't want to marry you. Tell your mom to swear on the Bible. Baby Smurf, go get the Bible. Go get your Bible.
Look, man. Look. What is going on? Mama Smurf, the evil vegan baby mama. What's happening here? How you gonna bridge the gap between the blacks and the Africans, and your family's in disarray? According to the oldest baby, who's like 22 now, she can't even get in contact with her own sister. The kids don't even know each other. What kind of birthday parties are they having? Do you even know about that? Look, the dudes that I know who have multiple baby mamas, at least the children know each other. Because they know who their brothers and sisters are. These goddamn kids and probably never even met. What is happening, man? Complete disarray.
And tell your mother to put her hand on that Bible. Tell your mother to put her hand on that Bible. And tell her to swear that she never told your father you will be with both of us or neither one of us. Tell her to take it to the Bible. Your mother is a Christian. Tell her to swear on the Bible that she didn't tell me you will be with both of us or neither one of us. And then you said, when I get married, will you walk me down the aisle? When I get married, will you walk me down the aisle? When I get married, will you walk me down the aisle? Baby Smurf. If you are marrying a man that I approve of, I will walk you down the aisle if you would like. If you marry a man, I understand that you have been drafted into the Rainbow Army.
This. Oh! Listen to this man. Listen to this man. This his daughter he's talking about. Yo. This is his daughter he's talking about here. She got drafted into the Rainbow Army? What is this? Yo. Hey, yo.
I don't agree with that at all, but I love you as my child. It will not affect our relationship, but do not ever ask me to co-sign or support something that I am vehemently against. I will not walk you down the aisle if you're marrying a woman. Let me say that one more time. I will not walk you down the aisle if you're marrying a woman, nor will your wife be allowed in my house. You will.
Yo, he clowning, bruh. He clowning. He clowning. Hey, yo. Wow. He's definitely softened on this stuff. A little bit. Not a lot, but a little.
You're allowed in my house. Your wife will not, because I do not support that lifestyle. I love all African people. I love you as my child. I love all African people. I love you as my child, but I will not co-sign that. Mama Smurf, I can't believe you let our daughter get caught up in that nonsense. Mama Smurf, I cannot believe you allowed our daughter to get caught up in this nonsense. You should have gave me my baby. I'm talking to Mama Smurf. When you knew you ran out of energy raising our child, when you knew you didn't want to raise her anymore because I wasn't going to marry you, you should have gave her to me. You know why you didn't give her to me? You know why you didn't give baby Smurf to her father? You didn't give baby Smurf to her father because your hatred for me was greater than your love for your daughter. Your hatred for me was greater than your love for your daughter. You should have given me my baby once you realized you no longer wanted to raise her. But your hate for me was greater than your love for our child. And that is why we are where we are. Young black men, please learn from our mistakes.
Oh my God. Holy hell. What the hell?
Young black men, please learn from our mistakes. There are women out here who will get pregnant by you on purpose, thinking they're going to become the wife. And when they don't, they will ostracize you from your child. It happened to me twice. And we're going to talk about the second one in depth in a minute. It happened to me twice. Both of my daughter's mothers wanted to be married. And when I would not do it automatically, shotgun style, shotgun, they wanted a shotgun marriage. And when I did not do it, they ostracized me from my child. Brothers, wrap up the Shango stick.
The
No
Shango
more broken
stick.
homes. No more broken homes. I apologize to my race. I apologize to my elders. I apologize to my supporters. But I want to be clear. No man should be blamed alone for a broken home, because women do as much breaking of homes as men do. Can I get an eye shade from our unapologetically African anti-snow bunny brothers? Women
No,
break
actually,
up homes
no.
as much.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. No, you can't. No. They were trying to do the right thing. You were doing the wrong thing. They wanted a relationship. You just wanted to smash and dash. No, that's wrong. You're in the wrong. They were trying to do the right thing. You did the wrong thing twice. No, 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 Ashe. No. No way. No way. Come on, man. Look, I get it. You wasn't ready to get married. You just got to own that. If they gave you this ultimatum and you made a decision, stand on your decision. That's how it was. There was an ultimatum. I wasn't ready. They made the decision they had to make. But the kid shouldn't have got caught up in the middle of it. But that's inevitable when you make that decision. You made the decision to not be there with at least one of your children every day of her life. If you were told you have to be with both of us or neither one of us, which is wrong. I agree with that. That's wrong. But if you were told that and you weren't ready to get married, then you are basically saying another man's going to come in here and raise my child. Another man's going to be responsible for her education. Another man's going to be responsible for her diet. Another man's going to fill her with confidence, wisdom. Other men are going to do those things. And you, every time you ripped and ran the streets, you pretty much accepted that that's going to occur. Now, if you want to blame her upbringing for her being drafted into the Rainbow Army, You weren't there either. It ain't just mama's fault. Where were you? When she was signing the admissions papers to get into the Rainbow Army, where were you? When she was trying to join the carpetbagging unit, where were you? I hope she marries a white girl. That's what I hope. Fuck this
For a broken home. Because women do as much breaking of homes as men do. Can I get an eye shake from our unapologetically African anti-snow bunny brothers? Women break up homes as much as men do.
Get out of here,
I'm
nigga.
gonna say it again. Women break up homes as much as men do. Let me say it again. Women break up homes as much as men do. I didn't say they got pregnant by themselves, did I? I didn't say they got pregnant by themselves. That's why you just got blocked. Nobody said anything about them getting pregnant at all.
Corny. Just corny, bro. No responsibility. No responsibility for nothing. And he's able to keep doing this and to do this as long as he's been doing it is because the women are on his side. That's what's happening here. The women are on his side. So now there's a bunch of people standing up. They're trying to buy the school from Dr. Umar. They're trying to save the school by buying the school. There's no point, dog. Give it up. Give it up, dog. This dude is ridiculous, man. I really do hope his daughter marries a white woman. I hope she finds one of the most beautiful snow bunny. I hope it's like a Nikita Lyons level snow bunny. Like one of those half black snow bunnies. Where she like black in spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like Nikita Lyons is almost goddamn Nation of Islam black. But she white as snow, right? But her and like Hollywood Ailey J, they like black in spirit. They got the Shaniqua spirit. I hope one of those white girls is like his daughter-in-law. Where she got the long fingernails and lip popping and all that. I hope the whole 9 yards. Just drives him fucking crazy. Take that one. He deserves it. Fuck him. What is he talking about? Unreal. He's unreal. The most untrustworthy Negro on the internet. Easily. The consistently broke Prince of Panhandling. Embarrassing. It's actually it's so bad. It's so bad. uh, this is terrible. Now they say he married two women at the same time. This is what it was a clip out there of him saying he's marrying two women at the same time. But this clown has been through so much. It's just you can't keep track of all the stories and all the BS. And for all the stuff that he says that is true and correct, you can't defend all the blatant
and there's some sort
terrible niggardry that he's got going on here. It's unrealistic. He needs to go away. He needs to just go away. Nobody takes this fool seriously. And if you do, you shouldn't. Once the school gets sold, that should be it. Right? That should be it. So somebody may, run up and bail him out. Because people are trying to do that. People are trying to bail him out. There's like some institutions that are trying to offer him money to buy the building away from him and all that. I don't know what hurt his feelings more. If she was like some Jan Brady white girl, I'm talking about super white, or if she was like a negress and with white skin. What would drive him crazy even more? The cultural appropriation or white people being white people? I don't know. He said, imagine if she marries, turns straight for a white man. He'd be on self yeet watch. Oh man. He'd be at the bottom of that damn the nearest river. You don't have a school, you have trap houses. Huh. What an embarrassment. It's so embarrassing. And how could this guy have people on a hook for so long? 20 years, man. 20 years, man. Enough's enough. Enough's enough. All right, so Dr. Umar is about to lose the school. He got 10 days or something like that in order to come up with, I think, $100,000, $20,000 to save one school. I think it's like $80,000 actually, like $60,000 for the other school or something like that. It's a whole lot of money. So he got two different campuses, so he's probably about to lose these schools. Everybody's laughing at him. There's more videos making fun of him than there is trying to help him. And that's because he's been so cocky and so arrogant for so long. He's talked so much shit. And he's dragged his feet on these issues for so long that people want it over with. People want this stuff to be over. And the only way to break the spell is to see it fall completely. And in some ways, I feel bad for the people who have been giving him money pretty consistently over the years, because they believed in the vision. But it's like all cults. Either you get what you keep getting asked for, which is, oh, we need for the building fund, we need it for this, we need it for that. And you end up like Jim Jones in Guyana drinking poison Kool-Aid, or you're constantly chasing something that's never going to happen. They were preparing to go to Guyana for a long time. They thought the government was after them because, well, the government was after them, So this whole thing it's really embarrassing. It's really, really bad. But there's not much you can do. You can't help the man because the man don't want help. He said it out of his own mouth. All he wants is donations. He wants donors. And all of his appearances, all these paid appearances, all these free flights around the country, it has produced nothing of value for the community. Enough's enough. Enough's enough. We're done. People, this is the second definition of black fatigue. We're tired of Negroes popping up asking for money for their goofy ass dreams that don't necessarily help anybody. The Dr. Umars, the Tariq Nasheeds, the Yvette Carnells, all these motherfuckers need to go away. You've been working on one project for a decade. No, go away. All right? People don't got no problem investing in your dream. But we need to see some forward motion. At least with the FBA and the ADOS bullshit, you do see some forward motion. There are some things moving forward. If Tariq Nasheed is, panhandling for a documentary, the documentary eventually comes out. You know, it might not come out in a timely manner, but at least it comes out at some point. Like he had all those people buy a quote unquote museum that ended up being like a nightclub or something like that. Like, what the hell is that? But at least he built something, and it was open. You can criticize what it ended up being, like an event space or something like that. But at least he built something and it was open. Umar never got the doors open on anything, and was doing this for 20 years. Like, you can criticize the outcome sometimes, but damn, at least get the ball rolling. The crazy thing is, why wouldn't he even just get to the point? Just test it. Just test it. You could have started the school up and then just waited for the lawsuit and then use the lawsuit as an excuse to shut it down or something like that. You know? Anything. He didn't never open the school. And he's not qualified to run a school. He didn't take the time to go get any qualifications to run the school. He's not qualified to be a principal. He's not qualified to set a curriculum. If he just wanted to be a mentor, that would have been fine. That could have been really helpful. He could have been, you know, all he needed to do at that point is have a copy machine, copy his favorite works, some favorite passages from some favorite works, and then pass those things out and talk about them in a lecture in terms of a mentorship. That's all he really had to do. Yeah, that's what I do on this channel. That's all I do. I find shit, I copy it, and I come out here and talk about it. He's been doing this shit for 20 years. You know how much stuff he could have put people on? How much reading material and stuff he could have put people on? If he wanted to just have a podcast, he could have made hundreds of millions of dollars off a podcast if he'd started one earlier. I can't imagine that Dr. Umar would have had a podcast and it wouldn't have been successful. Imagine if he would have asked certain people to come on his podcast and he talk to them or whatever. It would have been fun. See, the thing is, I'm capable of enjoying people for what they are without expecting too much of them. I'm like that with Candace Owens too. I was listening to Candace Owens earlier today talk about Epstein. I don't even know if she knows what she's talking about, but it's entertaining. And that's it. Do I take whatever she said at face value? Not really. Because I know Candace. Everybody knows Candace. She's part crazy. She's like 8/5 crazy, right? She might be misconstruing something. She done misread something. She's reading shit out of context. She's reading what she wants to read, but it's entertaining. And sometimes that's all it needs to be. And Dr. Umar is entertaining. And sometimes that's all it needs to be. He's out here talking about being anti-Snow Bunny, anti-Rainbow Army, and everybody's like, yeah, I love Dr. Umar. But he's also keep talking about this goddamn school. And that's the thing that's getting him paid. That's the thing he keep coming out talking money about. If he was just a Negro that got paid to go fly around and do some stuff, nobody would care. If he was like, what's that guy Tariq Nasheed always used, Dr. Randy Short, right? If he was like Claude Anderson, nobody would be tripping, right? Nobody expects anything out of Claude Anderson. Not really. You call him to do a podcast, you call him to do an interview, that's it. He ain't promising you nothing. If Umar could have just slid into that role, and just been, the guy who pops up on the Breakfast Club every quarter, the guy who shows up on the podcast here and there, the Button podcast or Hot 97 or whatever, he'd have been fine. It was the part about him stressing that there needs to be this school and this school needs to exist. That's been the problem. I've seen people say that Dr. Umar is Jordan Peterson for black people, which I think is unfair to Jordan Peterson. It might be in some ways accurate, but I think it's a little unfair. Because Jordan Peterson is like pretty legit, and Dr. Umar not so much. But he's embarrassed himself. He's been humiliated publicly, professionally, intellectually, spiritually. I don't even know what the nigga believes. If we being honest in terms of religion, you never hear him talk about religion really. But he's usually pretty good on current events. His social stuff is matriarchal, which is why the black women keep supporting him. And they're going to continue to support him. So I'm not too concerned about where he's going to end up on this whole thing. If the school gets taken in 2 weeks, actually not even 2 weeks, he got 1 week. Said the 25th, right? The 25th is next Tuesday. Is that what it is? Next Tuesday? Unless somebody buys the building from him and assumes that cost and then go ahead and pays it, or they buy somebody swoops in and purchases the purchases it from auction. Jeez, I hope the tiny hats buy it. That's what I hope. I hope it ends up for auction and the tiny hats buy it. Turn it into a synagogue or something. Something useful to that 55% black population in Wilmington, Delaware. He's gonna fuck around and be a mosque or something like that. I'm telling you, he needs to stop it. What are my thoughts on Carmen JC? Some say she's the next Candace Owens. I don't think I've seen enough. I may not know the name. I may know the person, but not know the name. I'm not sure if I know who that is. But if she's the next Candace Owens, it ought to be fun because Candace Owens is fun. She's the fun kind of nutty. She dabbles in being the dangerous nutty, but she's a fun nut. Like the amount of time she put into that Bridget McCrone thing has got to be. That just seems like that's hours and hours and hours out of your life, right? I watched like 2 episodes of that thing and was like, I don't care about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't make me no goddamn difference if the French prime minister or president or whatever he is married a man. I don't care. It don't make me no difference. I don't give a shit. So, but her dogged she won't let it go. She refuses to let it go. You want the wing nats to buy it? Somebody like Mr. Beast is gonna fuck around and buy it or something like that. Mr. Beast is gonna buy it and start like fuck around and find like a gold bar underneath the goddamn building or something like that and get all his money back. Whatever, man. There's another L for the black community. Screwing around with Dr. Umar. The crazy thing is, man, we already got HBCUs and all these other things that white people don't support. Oops. Black people already don't support the HBCUs and everything they already got. We'll keep building new ones. In remote locations like Wilmington, Delaware. We don't support the ones in Atlanta we got. You got like, what, 5 within 2 miles of each other in Atlanta? There's like 2 schools for women and 2 schools for men, and then like a mixed You know, there's like 5 of them in Atlanta, in that same general area, and nobody takes care of none of them's goddamn schools. You know, like there's like 2 or 3 in DC. Nah, and those are colleges, universities. Those are a little bit more expensive to take care of, I'm sure. But people don't even give money to those places. This is stupid. It's stupid. They've been wanting the government to fund the HBCUs forever, and now Dr. Umar's like, I want to be funded by people like you, but I don't want to open a bank account. What? I don't want to have a line of credit. What? Okay. Okay. Whatever, man. Whatever you say, dog. I don't know, man. It's a guy's a joke. It's a joke. AJ3 says black people love to wait for master. I mean, we don't want to free the slaves. We just want to hold the whip and whip them. Yeah, man. We don't. It's like you don't want to end slavery. You just want to change who is in control. That's all it is. You don't want to fix the problem. You just want to be in control. If the problem must exist, then we should be in control of it. I don't have that attitude. I think, and if Dr. Umar, I thought could deal with the childhood illiteracy in the black community, I would support him. But he's been talking so much that you know he's a clown. And you knew he wasn't helping. He's a guy. I'm not even going to get to the second story I had planned. I wanted to talk about Donald Trump taking over DC. Maybe talk about that next week, because it's supposed to happen for 30 days, and they've already started backing off of some of it. So I think they were going to fire the police chief, but they left the police chief in place. So we'll see if Trump is still in control of DC next week, then we'll talk about it then. But right now, I know he's already taken it over, but we'll see. And I will say this though, on the Trump taking over DC thing. There were a couple of cities in Michigan. They had what's called an emergency manager. Detroit was one of them, Benton Harbor, and I think Flint. What happened is the cities were broke. Detroit, of course, went bankrupt. Benton Harbor was close to going bankrupt, or at least it did. It may have, I don't know. And Flint, I think, went bankrupt. So the Republican governor took over the cities. They can do that legally. You know, Michigan passed an emergency manager law. And also, because of federalism, the cities are the property of the state. Okay? The city charters. Now, there are cities that are older than the state. Detroit is older than the state of Michigan. But Detroit is chartered with the state of Michigan, which means the state runs the cities. The state can pull the city charter whenever they want to. But because of democracy and republics and all that sort of stuff, the cities have their own governments. If at any point in time the city government becomes so terrible, in the state of Michigan, we can have an emergency manager. So this happened 3 times. This became the exact same thing you're talking about with Trump. They called it racist because Detroit's black, Flint's black, and Benton Harbor is black, right? But all 3 cities were broke. This is how the Flint water crisis ended up happening, because the city manager of Flint was black, and he took over the city, and I think it might have been the city itself, or I forget whether it was the city itself that did it, or whether it was the emergency manager that did it. But they were getting their water from Detroit, and then it got too expensive, and they decided they were going to use their own water source. But the pipes were rusted, and that's how it tainted all of their water. But that's neither here nor there. The emergency manager comes in, takes over, and basically controlled spending in the city. And this happened, what was this, 2005, 2006, something like that, around that era. Around the time they threw Kilpatrick in jail. All right, around that time. So it's like 3 different cities in Michigan. They had this problem. What Trump is trying to do is the same thing except for crime. That crime is so out of control in DC that somebody needs to step in and do something. Now, normally, the state would have to do that because the state would be in control of the National Guard, and then the governor would have to send in the National Guard. This happens all the time during riots. DC has been so terrible, and DC is very specifically a federal district. It was never meant to be a city. It was made into a city in like the 1970s or something like that. It was never meant to be a city. So instead of pulling the city charter, which the president and Congress could do, they decided they're just going to take over and force out the police chief and force out the mayor and all that, and just basically take over the street, which is, it's essentially martial law, right? Legally, he can do this. So it's not illegal. The question is whether it's necessary. Now, I would question whether it's necessary or not. But then I find out in DC they're cooking the books, meaning they're not giving out real crime statistics. The crime statistics that they're putting out is not indicative of the actual amount of crime in DC. This is something that a lot of these liberal cities are doing. They're cooking their crime statistics. They are deciding that if somebody pulls a gun or something like that, they're downgrading the crime for their statistics, or they're doing something like they're trying to obscure the race of the people committing crimes. All this sort of stuff. It's really, really ridiculous shit that they're doing in these cities, especially in California and New York. But in DC, they found out that not only is crime at a ridiculous rate, but now the police are lying about the amount of crime that's happening in the city. So you can't even get a real estimate of how many homicides and rapes and assaults and different things like that are happening because the police are manipulating the crime data. At that point, I said, take it over. That's how I feel. Just take it over. Because that's what was happening financially here in Detroit. The city was so shitty economically. And the city government was being so obtuse on what they were spending money on. They weren't being transparent on how much they were spending for certain things. Everybody was just kind of like, oh no, it's all Kwame. It's just Kwame. Kwame's doing all this. It wasn't just Kwame. It wasn't just him. He was a big part of it. He wasn't just him. And when the emergency manager took over, we started seeing, oh, this is how much you were paying out to unions. This is how much you were paying contractors and yada, yada, yada. They're going to start slashing all of that, destroying contracts, ripping shit up. Sometimes that's what it takes. Now, the left will do this. They don't have a problem with the federal government taking over. See, they did it to Ferguson. But they did it for, quote unquote, civil rights reasons. Too many black people are getting pulled over. So the federal government is going to go in there, take over the city, and force them to sign a consent agreement. They've done this to so many different cities in the country, where the civil rights divisions or whatever will force the city government into some kind of consent decree that basically allows black people to commit crimes in these areas. Because you can't arrest a disproportionate amount of black people to do certain things. So people are not being consistent with this whole Trump taking over DC thing. People were against it when it happened in Detroit and Benton Harbor and Flint. They just say, oh, it was racist, even though the emergency manager was black, even though we had a black mayor who was Mayor Bing at the time, and he supported the emergency manager. He wanted to be the emergency manager. That's also why he didn't get to become governor, and he wanted to. He wanted to be governor, but no, right? He supported the emergency manager to destroy his ass for that. The idea that Trump is doing something illegal or tyrannical, I don't know. Nah. The thing is, the left has made all this stuff necessary. Their refusal to implement basic criminal justice is the reason why there's ICE raids in the streets. Why the ICE is invading schools, restaurants, farmlands. The reason this stuff is happening is because the left does not want to enforce basic criminal justice. So you're forcing people to go to a higher level of government. You're basically forcing the tyranny. Now you got, and Actual Justice Warrior talks about this literally all the time, the amount of corrupt judges that are in America right now. Judges that are allowing murderers back out on the streets. Judges that are giving murderers bond, low bonds. States that are turning around and saying no bail. You get caught beating your wife, you don't have to pay bail, you just go right back out on the street. This stuff is becoming really problematic. But they never talk to you about that. They always say, well, the government is, the federal government has this thing, and they're supposed to do only this one thing, and they're overstepping by doing this, and this. All right, why won't the state of California enforce federal law? Oh, they don't agree with federal law. You don't get to decide. Well, so I don't get to decide what laws I'm going to break and which ones I'm not going to break. You throw me in prison. But if you're Gavin Newsom, you can decide what laws are responsible laws. Like, no. See, this is when the states start saying we're sovereign entities, which they should be, and we can do what we want. Meaning, if we want to be a sanctuary state, we should be able to. But we tried that already. We tried that when it came to slavery. States wanted to be sanctuary states. Other states says, no, you can't do that. And other people say, well, what do you mean you can't do that? If my slave runs from Georgia to New York, you have to send them back. That's the Fugitive Slave Act. And New York was like, wait a minute, Massachusetts. Like, what are you talking about? You're making me engage in slavery at that point. We banned it. The state of Massachusetts is a sovereign entity. We don't have to abide by Georgia's law, which is true, they don't. But then the Fugitive Slave Act was a federal law. They had to comply with federal law, or did they? That was, Supreme Court and all that, right? Now we're in that same situation again. The state of California, the state of New York, the state of Illinois, all these liberal states, usually these very blue areas, we don't want to comply with federal law. The government, the federal government, cannot force you to comply to federal law because the states are sovereign entities. But the federal government can enforce their own laws. And that's what's happening. They are forcing Donald Trump to take on more and more power so that they can call him a tyrant. But the basic question is, you're in control. It's happening in your backyard. Why are you not stopping it? Why isn't the police in D.C. stopping the crime? Why isn't the mayor and the city council in D.C. responsible for stopping the crime? Why does Trump have to step in to do it? Because you're not doing it. And you're not doing it on purpose. It's the same thing they're doing in California, the same thing they're doing in New York and in Chicago and in Philadelphia and parts of like Louisiana and stuff. Same damn thing. It's the same thing everywhere. They're not doing it on purpose. The most important thing for people to learn, you do not have a constitutional right to police protection. Understand that. You pay for the police through your taxes. They do not have to help you. Which means if you call the cops, they don't have to show up. You cannot sue the state because the cops did not appear at a crime scene. Because of that, the states don't have to enforce the law if they don't want to. So they have allowed rioting to occur. When there were riots in Portland and in Seattle, they told the police to stand down. Just let the riot happen. And wasn't that broad in Baltimore saying that basically she gave them a certain radius for them to riot in, like a playpen for them to destroy businesses and kill people? They've been doing this for years. Selectively enforcing laws. Forcing Donald Trump to take on more power, to do something about it. And they keep doing this because to them, saying Donald Trump is a tyrant and then saying he's taken over the police in DC, he's got ICE in the streets in California and in Texas and Arizona. Look at all these incredibly tyrannical things that he's doing. It's like, well, he wouldn't have to do it if you would comply with federal law. And then in some cases, it's not even federal law, it's basic criminal justice. You can't allow people to steal. And these states would just be like, steal away, do whatever you want. We're going to allow Antifa and whoever else to break windows, set fires, do whatever they want. People are living in fucking terror. They're going to create a situation worse than Trump is what they're going to end up doing. Because Trump still he wants to be liked. He wants, the adoration of people. So if folks start really kind of giving them too much shit, he'll kind of back off on some of these things. Just like, he backed off on taking out the police chief in DC. They were going to take the police chief out. And then they was like, oh no, he's a tyrant. And Trump was like, I don't know. That's why they slowed down on the deportations and ICE won't go into schools no more. ICE won't go into any hearing no more. And that kind of pissed off all, Nick Fuentes guys and everything because Trump slowed down on the deportations because ICE was so aggressive. Because that was the mandate. The mandate was for them to be aggressive. It didn't affect his polling numbers. And it don't matter anyway because he's in the lame duck session. He can't be president anymore. So it doesn't matter. But he still wants to be liked. And then also he knows he can't just put his foot on the gas and leave it there. Because ISIS is too aggressive and they are picking up sometimes American citizens and stuff like that. So because mistakes happen, they do take their foot off the gas. But that just makes people think he's weak. That's what Nick Fuentes' whole thing is. He's weak. He didn't build the wall. He won't deport everybody. You're going to make something worse than Trump. But that's what they want. They figure if they don't have power, they can manipulate. And that's what they've been doing. So we'll talk more about that next week, even though I think I probably said everything I wanted to say now, if we're being honest. So, I don't know. Darren Miles says, well, street niggas going to have to listen to Tuesdays and Thursdays from the Hot Boys. The people that act an ass, you get caught in the street. CP the Tucker said, especially when Kamala let practically everyone come in the country, now the left is mad because Trump ICE is cleaning it up. Yeah, like that's been the problem. WG feels like, would you do a stream about the 1350 statistics? Is it just wing that right wing cope, or is it truthful? It's true. 13% of the population is responsible for like 50% of the murders. That's a fact. It's true. Actually, it's not even 13% of the population. It's like 6% because it's black males mostly, and it's even smaller number because it's black males between the ages of like 16 to 25. They're responsible for most of the murders, but those are the gangbangers, the drug dealers, those people. And then you'll occasionally have like a disgruntled husband and killed his wife, or somebody got into an argument in the parking lot. Stuff like that is pretty rare. But when you talk about like routine killings, like the higher level killings, talking about gangs, drug dealing, criminal shit. People involved in criminal enterprises who typically are young and they kill people off, and they have an excessive amount of murders. It's true. And it's been known forever. It's not like something that just popped up within the last few years. I heard about that in college 10 years ago. It's a fact. The thing is, you can actually break down murder rates by neighborhood. So not only do the police know what race of people are doing it, they know the age bracket of the people are doing it, and they know what neighborhoods those people are in. But you have your Mark Lamont Hills, they'll tell you these areas are over-policed. There's no such thing. There wouldn't be that much crime if the police were there. Part of the reason why there's so much crime is because there's no police presence. And that ties a lot into the Trump situation too, because just like in the 1980s, when all of the older blacks who owned their own homes and wanted to send their children to decent schools, they were in support of the crime bill that Joe Biden and all them put together in 1994. The black community wanted the crime bill. They wanted somebody to do something about the drug addicts, the crackheads, and all that sort of stuff. They wanted somebody to do something. Their whole thing was, I think the words were benign neglect. You don't care what happens in the black community. These kids are killing each other and you're not going to do anything. You're not sending enough police officers. You're not throwing them enough in prison, yada, yada, yada. They passed the crime bill. They started rounding niggas up, hitting them with RICO. RICO was created for the mob. And it ends up getting applied to like every black gang from Detroit to LA, from New York to Atlanta. Right? Everybody started getting caught up in RICO. It killed the mob. The mob pretty much died when RICO started. But you still had some black gangs after RICO, like the BMF and all that kind of stuff. They got caught up too eventually. But then a few years later, you started hearing black people say, oh, we were over-policed and the sentencing guidelines weren't fair and all this other bullshit. But this is what your grandma wanted. Your grandma wanted to have a nice, clean neighborhood. She didn't want dope fiends in her neighborhood. Now you live in an apartment in the middle of nowhere. You don't live in the hood. And you sitting here talking about that these neighborhoods were over-policed. There's no such thing as over-policed. Back then, they knew what neighborhoods these crimes were happening in. And the gangs were not in any way shy about what neighborhoods they represented. If you worked in the gang unit in LA, you knew exactly what neighborhood the Brims were in. The Treetop Pyrus, you knew exactly what neighborhood that was. The 8 Tray Gangsters, you know exactly what neighborhood that is. That was not a surprise to anybody. So they know even down to the neighborhoods. So you got to ask yourself, why were they still letting it happen? Because nobody wants to be called a racist. The worst possible thing you can be called is a racist. You call somebody a rapist, a child molester, whatever you want. Just please don't call me no racist. You're literally saving black people's lives, and they're calling you a racist while you're doing it. And now they're doing the exact same thing. There's black people in D.C. happy as hell that there's police out there and military and everything, because finally they get to go hang out at night and not have. They don't. One woman did a video where she's talking about like she don't hear gunshots anymore. And you have people on TV calling Donald Trump a racist. That's why you can't fix none of the problem. There's people that want this stuff to happen because they thrive in chaos and they can manipulate the chaos and they can control it and use it to their benefit. And B, the people who benefit from it have no voice in the conversation. They can make TikTok videos, they can make YouTube videos, but when Mark Lamont Hill's on TV and millions of people are watching him, and he's talking this dumb shit about how this doesn't need to happen, it's not necessary, blah, 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 blah. He ain't talking about the cops cooking the statistics or nothing like that. People tend to believe him because he's on TV. That's a problem, man. That's a huge problem. That's what I love about YouTube. YouTube has allowed people to post up old documentaries, old news clips, and you can see black people in the 80s talking about how the government don't care about them, the racist government. They let people, sell dope in their communities, yada, yada, yada. And then as soon as the government did something about it, the government was racist for stopping crack dealers. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. He said, I lived through 8 years of Reagan, calling Trump racist is crazy. They call you racist coming and going, though. You're a racist if you do nothing. You're a racist if you do something. There's not anything you can do. Somebody says DC crime was kind of going down. Degenerate Showering Guy says, I kind of get it, but at the same time, as someone from DC area, DC crime was kind of going in the decline for years, mostly because of gentrification. The issue with that is, can you trust the crime statistics? We've already proven that you can't. They're cooking the books. If they were reporting the crimes appropriately, then you could say, okay, well, there's still some knuckleheads out there. We're going to get them, and then we'll call it a day. But they're lying. They're lying about the amount of crime that's going on in DC. And we don't know whether they got corrupt judges or not, which they probably do. And by corrupt judges, I mean judges that are letting these guys back out on the street after they get busted, shooting at people. I'm not tripping on, just being in possession of a gun. I don't necessarily like that. I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm not necessarily against it. But guys who are getting busted doing all kind of foul shit, they get let right back out and they just go right back to doing it. Like the revolving door is definitely being problematic. Yeah, BMF, Chambers Brothers, etc. Did the Chambers Brothers? I think the Chambers Brothers got RICO, didn't they? I think YBI got the RICO shit too. But BMF, that was in like the 2007, 8 or something like that. But RICO was tearing people apart in the 80s and 90s, though. They really got the mob heavy with the RICO cases. That was crazy. Don't let nobody tell you that they were harder on black criminals than they were on white ones. There are mob bosses 90 years old getting triple life in prison. Okay, like those guys were like Casino, like that shit was real. Like those guys were showing up on oxygen tanks, and they were still giving them like 120 years for racketeering. You're like, damn. Like they hit the mob heavy. What Enrico was specifically for them, specifically, and they started getting black people with that shit, and that's when the mass incarceration and all that stuff started to happen, because they already mass incarcerated the fucking mob. There's dudes in and out of prison. It was killing them. It was taking them apart. He said AJ3 says they won't stop talking about the Epstein file, so maybe this has to do with Trump for targeting black people to once he gets done with the immigrants. Well, that's the claim, is that he's trying to distract from the Epstein stuff. The Epstein shit ain't going anywhere. All right, it's out there now. People want to know. But I think people can care about two things at once. I think folks realize now that Trump is not going to put out whatever. Whoever going to come after him is going to have to put something out or promise to. But Trump is also poisoning the water. Like a lot of his legitimate cult followers have already put out there that whatever you pull from the Epstein files might be doctored, which I would question anyway. I think that's a legitimate concern to have, is that they've had these files for years. They could have altered them in any way that they wanted to. Especially if they thought Trump was going to put that stuff out, they could have altered the files in some way. But I still think you need to put them out. You put people in prison. Like Ghislaine Maxwell is still in prison. She's still alive. She ain't suicided herself yet. So who are they trafficking children to? And I saw some people say, well, Ghislaine Maxwell was the one. She was trafficking the children to Jeffrey Epstein. We saw Bill Clinton on the goddamn airplane. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. Let's go see what's what. We already know it's a bunch of Hollywood weirdos and politicians and such. Let's just get it on out there. And I'm not dumb enough to believe that it's one side of the aisle. It's both sides. And that's why you're not going to see anything. Because if it could kill the conservatives, the liberals would have put it out. And if it could kill the liberals only, the conservatives would pull it out. Both sides are trying not to tell you to shut up about it because they both got guys on the list. The crazy thing is, I don't think Trump's on it. But I think Trump donors are on it. That's what I think. People who gave Trump money, Peter Thiel might be on it. What's that other old tiny hat? Adelson, he might be on it. There might be some people like that on that list. But you'll never see that fucking list, I promise. You say you hope they don't get rid of the graffiti? Is it that nice? Our graffiti sucks. Well, some of it sucks. There's some people who are pretty good graffiti artists, but there's not really good graffiti artists anymore in Detroit. Unless I'm not looking well enough. Yeah, John Gotti they got him good. They got some of those guys when they were pretty young too. Like some of those dudes were like in their 40s getting hit with that Rico stuff. Like some of those guys, they're in there already 60. They're talking about 140 years. They might as well not snitch. Fuck it. But if you're 45, 38, like you might as well go ahead and tell, man. So many of them. That's why so many people started snitching in the mob. They were getting hit with real time. That talk about over policing. They were getting hit with real time. I'm talking about from the this shit was crazy. It's legit funny how bad it was. Slade said that CP the Trucker said there are many media execs who have that list. Their golden children are on there. That's why it won't be released. Yeah, there's probably people who own radio stations, people who own either parts or investors in certain places. Yeah, they're gonna get. They're not. Nah. Nope. Forget it. People keep thinking about, oh, Trump won't put it out there because Trump's on the list. Trump probably had a conversation with somebody from England who might be on that fucking list, and it's like, please don't put that out. Don't do that. You're going to destabilize our economy. You're going to destroy our economy. Don't do that. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Because Epstein was involved with so many different people that if they put this list out and there's a bunch of Hollywood tiny hats and a bunch of, other people from media and politicians and their donors and such, and all these people get canceled and people stop buying stuff from their companies or want them in prison, stock market's going to go in the toilet. It's going to be a firestorm in the economy, a worldwide firestorm in the economy in multiple different countries. US, Israel, England, France, fucked. All right? They're not doing it. They're not putting that out there. They're not going to destroy the world economy. They're not going to do it. Not Trump, anyway. Probably some socialists will put it out there because this would be like the next step towards socialism is outing all these billionaire pedophiles, which is what we say we want. Yeah, put it out there. And then once your pension don't mean shit no more because everything done tanked, you're going to wish you never said that. So I truly believe that's why you'll never see it. Because the donors are on the list, the people that they were donating to, the organizations that they own and operate are all major important parts of our institutions and our economy. If it was just politicians, people could get rid of politicians. It's deeper than that. It's people entrenched in these areas. That's what was so hard about like the Weinstein stuff. They tried to contain that Weinstein stuff quite a bit because Weinstein was not doing anything that everybody else wasn't doing. But they was all like, oh yeah, Weinstein. Yeah, it was Weinstein. It was only him. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Everybody who gives somebody a job is probably casting couching. Vince ain't the only one. You think you Harvey Weinstein and Vince McMahon were the only two bagging chicks that come to his office looking for jobs? No, he wasn't. But they're going to contain that shit as much as possible to not do damage to too many of these companies. They're not stupid. They're not idiots. You said rumor has it that Tom Hanks is on there? I would be surprised if Tom Hanks was on there. But you can't ever put anything past anybody. He's been in Hollywood for so long, I wouldn't put it past him. Prince Andrew was involved with Epstein. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to find somebody who wasn't. The thing is, we already know Trump had some level of involvement with Epstein because he's been to Mar-a-Lago. Epstein was in Mar-a-Lago. And Trump was on his plane at one time. Like, Epstein was a socialite. He hung out with a bunch of other people. That's the nature of the beast. That's the thing that's so damaging about it because you can't say you don't know the guy. You say you watched the documentary on Nicky Barnes. Rico got him too. Yeah, they killed him. And then he snitched on everybody else, brought everybody down. That Rico stuff was crazy. Like they bastardized Rico now. That's how Diddy got caught up in it. But back when they first started doing Rico, that shit was nuts. Anything you paid for with drug money or illegal funds, you started up a business with illegal funds, Rico. It's over with. That's what they tried to jam up Murder Inc. with Rico. That's a nasty law. And that came straight from it was in New York. He was his face is in my head, but I can't remember his name. Giuliani. Yeah, Giuliani created the RICO law. Trump is like Brock Lesnar in the Vance case. Yeah, he's absolutely there. He's absolutely involved. But he might not be involved to the degree that everybody thinks he is. Because Epstein knows everybody. And that's the damaging part. Like, the fucking guy knows everybody. He shows up to these Hollywood parties all the time. People come to his house all the time. They float on his airplanes, all this sort of stuff. But nobody wants to come out and be like, well, yeah, of course I know Jeffrey Epstein. I've seen him at Hollywood events all the time. I didn't know he was a pedophile. I didn't know he was trafficking young girls. Nobody would believe him. So everybody's kind of like, I don't know the guy. I don't know the guy at all. It's a lie. Like I said before, I know people who've done really, really, really foul stuff. I don't know what they're doing when I'm not around. The thing is, Epstein is such a socialite. Everybody knew this man. These people were around him for decades. Decades. And now they're trying to act like they don't know him. I don't know him at all. Come on, man, it's bullshit. That makes you look guilty. Everybody knows that fucking guy. How do you feel about videos that try to debunk anti-capitalism and the pro-socialism communism? Well, it depends on who's doing it. Some people do a better job than others. I prefer that kind of material to the pro-socialist material. Darren Miles said they vetoed the R. Kelly going to Epstein. That was too much pedo power. I think one of the reasons they was able to get R. Kelly is because he wasn't trafficking. He was a consumer. He liked the young girls, and that was it. Notice they didn't arrest anybody for bringing R. Kelly young girls, and they claimed that R. Kelly was being brought young girls, right? And then they started saying, oh, he was showing up outside of McDonald's and Burger King by himself. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. Do I believe that maybe somebody was going out and finding young girls for R. Kelly? Yes. Do I believe R. Kelly was out hanging out, around the play place? Do you want to go home with Rob? No, I don't believe that at all. To my mansion. No, I don't believe that at all. They should have arrested the parents. Notice they didn't. And notice that these people knew about this stuff all this time, and they just let it slide. Some of this stuff had happened in the 90s, and it was okay. Nobody said anything. And then all of a sudden, it was wrong. What? It was wrong that R. Kelly to be dating all these young girls. We knew he married a young girl in 1994. It was wrong then. Nobody did anything. Like, we already knew about this. This wasn't stupid. Very, very stupid. All right, y'all. About to wrap this up. I got to go put my clothes in the dryer, so I'll go to work in the morning. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Thank you guys for your time. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great week. Peace out. Oh, they were married on your birthday date. Oh, hell no.